Earlier this year, rumors were swirling that an NHL team would return to the city of Winnipeg. First, it was the Atlanta Thrashers, and then it was the Phoenix Coyotes. The rumors have since died down, but the fever has not. In part 2 of our series, Why Not Canada, Dave Naylor sizes up the chances of an NHL return to Winnipeg 14 years after the Jets left town.
I wanted to create a hub where people could come, chat on a chat board, relive old memories, and it kind of snowballed from there.
Darren Ford started his website 7 years ago, inspired by the fact Winnipeg was getting a new downtown arena.
When that arena started to become a reality and they started building it in 2003, that's when I kind of started moving and started to see things that could happen.
The Jets played their last game in Winnipeg in April of 1996, done in by the winds of change in the NHL. A slumping Canadian dollar was the final straw. The Jets packed up and headed to Phoenix.
Thanks for the memories.
Nobody wanted to own that team in Winnipeg anymore. And so it wasn't even a question of moving it. The franchise became no longer viable.
A lot has changed. Winnipeg has the MTS Center, a 6-year-old downtown arena that some believe is ideal for the NHL. The NHL has a salary cap that has slowed runaway payrolls, and the Canadian dollar is near par with the U.S.
That, coupled with the strength of our economy in Manitoba, you put that all together and it just made the model viable, where it wasn't 15 years ago.
Mark Chipman is chairman of True North Sports and Entertainment. The company that built the MTS Center owns the AHL's Manitoba Moose and has let the NHL know that Winnipeg is ready to return. Chipman's partner in his sporting ventures is Toronto-based David Thompson, head of media giant Thomson Reuters and part of Canada's wealthiest family with a net worth of $19 billion Canadian.
We've got almost a decade of history between us, have never had so much as a mild disagreement, and we're both of the same view in terms of timing and our willingness to be patient.
The MTS Center has been an ideal home to the American Hockey League's Manitoba Moose, but could it house an NHL team? With just over 15,000 seats, it would be the NHL's smallest building. But its proponents say in this market, bigger is not necessarily better.
I think your building's got to fit your market. And I think if I've learned one thing in this business over the past 15 years is, if your supply far outstrips your demand, it's a slippery slope. It's a very difficult business to be in.
You're going to have a very intimate building that can generate substantially, not completely, but substantially, all of the revenues that a slightly larger building could generate. So I don't think people need to get hung up over 1,000 seats.
The most common question asked about Winnipeg is, does it have enough corporate muscle? The research firm Environics Analytics turned up 272 businesses in Winnipeg with at least 100 employees and more than $20 million in sales. That's just over half of what exists in Edmonton.
One of the ways around that, and where you're seeing that at MTS Center, is where you see companies get together and they share a box. And I think you'll see more of that. And that's really where Winnipeg's sense of community comes to play.
We're very satisfied that there's a large and strong enough corporate base. Just the fact that, we have all of our suites sold, have had them, they sold out very quickly when we built the building. We've got a waiting list currently of about 50.
If there's an economy that managed to escape the latest recession, it is the Winnipeg economy. It has diversified nicely over the years. So I think we have a solid foundation of a whole sort of industry.
Still, there are challenges. With a smaller building, Winnipeg would have to be a mid-range payroll team along the lines of Buffalo or Nashville. And its local broadcast revenues likely wouldn't measure up to other smaller Canadian markets.
There's lots of organizations that are in smaller markets that are highly successful. So having the right owner and then getting a shrewd management team in place can narrow those gaps between profitability and a massive loss.
At TSN's request, sports business expert Norm O'Reilly developed a grading system for what makes an NHL team work in a particular city. He weighed a lot of variables, then boiled them all down to 2. First, the attractiveness of the market. Winnipeg's population of 752,000 is small by NHL standards, and so is its corporate sector. That means a C+ rating for market attractiveness. Not bad. The second and most important category, franchise viability. Here we factored in Winnipeg's new downtown arena, solid ownership prospects, and the fact the NHL has given its blessing to the city's readiness. Winnipeg's final rating rises to a B. While the NHL says there are no plans to move anyone anywhere, if that time comes, Winnipeg would be in the mix.
There's never been any doubt about the passion of fans, people in Winnipeg for NHL hockey. Finally, they have an arena that is up to NHL standards.
I think we're as close can be. I mean, we're certainly a lot closer than when I started this campaign 7 years ago. And I could only dream of where we are right now.
For SportsCenter, I'm Dave Naylor.
Tomorrow on SportsCenter, we take a look at the city of Hamilton that came oh so close to having an NHL franchise.
There's some kind of perceived slight by the NHL, like, no, not Hamilton, at all costs.
Part 3 of 6 in our Why Not Canada series tomorrow on SportsCenter. And the rest of the 6-part series will continue on SportsCenter. For much more on Why Not Canada, go to tsn.ca and the Globe and Mail.